Hello my fellow book nerds. In this video I'm going to do a book review on Eldest, the next book on the book series of The Inheritance. Yes, I believe that is. When I first got these books I thought the series was called Eragon. Apparently not, it's Inheritance. It literally says right there, the Inheritance Cycle. So the second book, we're going to dive deep into it, most likely, and go into the characters, the story, and my reaction at the end. So let's jump right into it. But before we do that, please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below, and please watch this video till the end because that does really support my channel. Okay, now let's jump into it. First off, the story in this book, honestly, okay, look at the covers. These covers just are amazing. I love dragons, just the idea of them, I love them. So this cover is it's sick, it's awesome. Okay, but the story. So at the end of the last book, we have a lot of things going on, and we start meeting new characters in this book. He brings a ton of new characters, and actually he puts in 2 points of view, which is very scary for me when a writer does that, because I'm like, can you pull it off? Can you? Rick Riordan does that very, very well. Who else? J.K. Rowling hasn't. I don't think she's done it. There's a few other books that are like that, but the main one that I've seen is Rick Riordan, where he pulls off 4 points of view in a story, and that's difficult, but he does it very well. And he actually pulls it off very, very, very well. It's Christopher Paolini, if you're wondering. So he actually pulls it off, and you get the point of view of Eragon and the point of view of I keep saying Ronan, but it's not Ronan, it's Roran with an R in the middle. So you see these 2 point of views, and he does it very well. You see these 2 cousins that pretty much are brothers now, how they fight and how they're trying to just survive pretty much. And eventually you're just hoping through the whole book that eventually they meet, they come back together, because at this point Roran is severely pissed, but we'll get into that in the characters. But anywho, he does bring them together very, very well. And we also get very deep into the knowledge of magic and the connection between Saphira and Eragon, and you just learn so much more. I feel this book is a filler, you pretty much telling you what you need to know between all of the countries that are going on, and the different types of people. I mean, there's dwarves, there's elves, there's different types of countries with men, the Varden, the main one, which I totally forgot their name. Wow. But yeah, so you learn all of these things, and it's very, very fascinating. But I mean, it can be kind of boring, but if you pull through that first chapter, it is really good. Plus you also realize how much Eragon needs to learn, because I mean, he is very you just turned on, my heater just turned on. Should I keep going? Sure, I'm gonna keep going. Hopefully it's not that loud, I don't know. So yes, anywho, he learns a lot, and he needs to learn a lot. So he finally gets you had Brom in the first book, but he dies sadly. So in the next book he needs another mentor, and one that is definitely stricter and pretty awesome, but I won't tell you any more about them. So characters, there's so many. I was like, who do I even choose? There's so many new characters that ended up in the last book and are being introduced in this book as well. So I chose 3, and yeah, that's all. Yeah, or 4. There's 4. So we start off with Roran, because he is such an important character in the whole series. You don't feel it in the first one, but second, third, and fourth, super, super important. So I wanted to dive into him. So we kind of find, we start off with Roran, where he finds out his dad died, Eragon's uncle. His dad dies, so he dies, he realizes he's dead, and he's like, where the heck is Eragon? Where are we going? Where did he do? And tons of things start happening at once that he now has to deal with. What Eragon did, which was bring Saphira, and that attracted the Razak, I believe their names are. I really hope so. Yeah, I mean, the names of the cities are going to be awful. I cannot pronounce those names. But the Razak. So, the Razak have been lured to Carvajal, their city, and Roran has to protect it because that is where, one, it's his home. He wants to protect it, and he wants to protect the people, and especially his fiancée, Katrina. So he ends up working super hard to protect his home from the Razak, and they are severely creepy creatures. Like they call them like bird-like creatures, but massive and buff and just overall creepy, like super creepy. Ugh. So yeah, but anyway, that's who Roran is. He becomes a leader, and he does everything he can to protect his home, which is amazing. Though he's not able to protect it, he is still able to protect the people. But, you know, if you read the story, you'll know. Okay, now Eragon and Saphira. I am putting them together because they're pretty much, oh yay. So they're pretty much like the same person now. They are one, they are connected, they are always together. Pretty much. Okay, so in this book, they need to learn. That is like the main thing and like the vibe you get from this book. They need to learn. So they go from where they were at, which was, let me pronounce it, Trojahim. Trojahim is the city where the Doors are at and the Varden were together. Varden's the only one I could say. So yeah, they were there, and he has to go to Eldest, which is the city of the elves, and that is where he will be trained as a writer. So you learn more about what writers are, who they were, and so much. And you meet their mentors, which I do not want to tell you who they are because it was like a shock to me when I read it. I thought it was like, I was not expecting that at all. Honestly, they might as well have brought Brom from the dead, but that would have been cool. But anyway, so yeah, that's all I'm going to be able to say about them because I would be giving it a lot away if I said more. So anyway, but they need to learn in this book, and that is what you get. Now finally, I wanted to get into Arya. I didn't get into her in the last book review because she was kind of like an anomaly. You didn't really know about her until the end or like the middle. So I was like, I'll wait for the next book. And I am. So Arya, you start kind of learning who she is. She's a strong and brave elf. She is pretty much like amazing, beautiful, obviously, which all elves are. So I've never, like only in like Christmas things have I seen like an ugly elf because they're so small and kind of like grubby, but whatever. In these books, elves are gorgeous, tall, lean, graceful beings, so that is what she is. But the thing with her is that she's very reserved. She's not the sharing type. She will not tell you pretty much anything about who she is, her feelings, or anything. She has like the perfect poker face. That's what I kind of got the vibe of. But you could still, she gives you her opinion, but nothing about her feelings. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And Eragon foolishly starts falling for her. I feel like it's foolish, but I mean, once you start liking someone, it's hard not to start liking them, especially if they're that gorgeous and they're like the only person around and they're gorgeous. So I understand how he starts falling for her. But sorry, my glasses keep falling. So yeah, you learn a lot more about her, especially since they go to Eldest. She joins Eragon and Saphira. She pretty much takes them over to Eldest to the mentor, and you do learn so much about her and why she's not really with her people, and she's actually quite old. So she does not look it. She's like 100 and some, I believe, or 200. I don't completely remember it, and I couldn't find it in this massive book. Well, I didn't try that hard, but I could have. But I didn't find it. But she was, I recall her being like severely old, and Eragon was just like, she's really old. Like, I don't know. Like, I still like her, but, and yeah, he still falls. completely. But anyway, that is Arya, and she is such an amazing character. I love her through the whole series. You can't just like forget her. Like she is someone who is there every step in the battle that is to come, pretty much. And through Eragon's whole battle and process, she is there. So you get to see them come together pretty well, but I can't tell you if they end up together or not. That's something you're gonna have to figure out on your own. Maybe I'll say it in the last one. We'll see. But anyway, those are the 3 characters. I better hurry up. My reaction is next. I will say this, out of the 4 books, this is probably my least favorite, because especially if there's a big chunk that is from when they leave Trojahim, I believe, to Eldest. There's like a big chunk of just like random stuff happening, and you're just like, okay, I get it, we need to learn about the dwarves, we need to learn about the elves a bit more and stuff like that. It is kind of boring, so like that part I was like, not a big fan. But the rest of it was really good. Like his training was fascinating. Definitely glad that they put Roran in there, because if not, I think it would have been a pretty boring book. But because of Roran and all the things happening to him, Eragon is able to be like calmer and not having so much action and actually learn. So I thought that was good. And I have some special mentions, because they do come up in the book, but not that much. In the next books they come out a ton and more points of view, but whatever. And let me see if I can say her name. Naswanda, I don't know, but I can't say much about her, because then I'll be giving away a lot, I believe, if you haven't read the book. But she comes up in the first book a little bit, and I was like, oh, I didn't like her. I thought she was kind of aloof. That's kind of what I thought of her. And then in the next book, you're just like, this woman is like a freaking beast. She's amazing, like, wow. But you see just little snippets of her in the next 2 books. That's where you really meet her. But yeah, she still comes up in this book, and you learn a lot. You get to see her character a little bit, and I think that's cool. And another one whom I fell in love with in the last book and this book and through the whole series is Oric the dwarf. He is amazing. He's so, like, I find him so sweet, and he is obviously a warrior still. He is the nephew of the king of the dwarves. I can't remember the name of the king, but his name is Oric, and he is a very cool character as well. So these 2 were like my special mentions that I couldn't really talk about much, and if I mention any more, it's too much. But anyway, that was my reaction. I loved the book, but it was kind of it's okay. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you read this book. I think they're pretty good. Just like the beginnings are always kind of hard, but like I said, Roran being in it helps a lot. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.